Walking through the valley. Okay. A lot of us have walked through the valley. But Neil was talking also about walking with someone through their valley, through their tunnel. You know, a little while ago, a really good picture of this tunnel. I want to paint it for you. A little while ago, I went to South Vietnam for a week for a holiday. And they've got these tunnels called Coochie tunnels. And they were built by the Vietnamese, the Viet Cong, during the Vietnam War, which the Vietnamese called the American War. Okay. And the tunnels are built for Vietnamese. Okay, so they're about this big. They're not built for the big fat foreigners, but they've made a tourist thing out of them now, so they've widened them so the foreigners, the big fat ones, can get in and see what it was like to be living in these 250 kilometres of tunnels underground. And so you get in there, it's a little wee hole that you get in, you've actually got to kind of squeeze your butt in and get in, and when you get in there, there's room to get down. And you get down on your hands and knees, right, in this tunnel, and you walk on your hands and knees through the tunnel. And it gets darker as you turn a corner, and it's pitch black. And you can't even see your hand in front of your face. And I was there with my friend, her name's Sue, and her husband Graham. Sue was petrified of these tunnels and wasn't going to go, and Graham said, go, come on, we're here, we go. So I went first, then there's Sue, then there's Graham. But there was all the other tourists in front of us first. We were the last three. And she's holding on to my ankle, and we're crawling through this thing, and she starts to panic behind me. Get out, I've got to get out, I've got to get Graham back up. He said, I can't. So get going. I said, well, okay. So I kept going like this until I was up close and much more personal than I wanted to be with a big fat German man, right, in front of me. And Sue's behind me saying, go. And I'm like, I can't go any further, believe me. But eventually we turn the corner, the last corner, and there's some light coming through a very small gap between the big German man's. That guy could have blocked out the sun. But the light was there. And it started to come, and what a relief to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And you know, in Cambodia, we work with women and kids who are in that tunnel. There's nowhere to go. They can't see the next step, and there's no light, and it's scary, and it's frightening, and it's alone, and it's cold, and it's dark, and it's horrible. But to have someone with you in that tunnel that can say, come on, there's going to be light at the end of the tunnel. That's what it's all about. There's a verse in Psalm chapter 40, and it says that God reached down into the miry clay, the mud and the miry, slippery clay, and he picked me out of the miry clay, and it said he put my feet on a rock, halfway up a mountains where you find rock. Okay, he didn't just reach down in the miry clay and pull us out and sit us on the side and say, there you go, you're out of the mud. You make something of your life, young man. Right? No. God took us out of the miry clay, and he set our feet on a rock. Okay, -10. It's not enough for Hagar to take kids from -10 and women who've had horrific stories and get rid of all the negative and stick them on 0 and say, there you go, all your negative's gone. Like Penny said, okay, Jesus came to help us in our trouble, but he came to give us life. He came to take us from -10 to +10, not to sit us on 0. And when the first thing comes along, you're back in the negative. No, it's about taking women and children and people going through the tunnel from the miry clay to the rock. Because the next verse in Psalm 40 says, he put a new song in my heart, a new song to sing and a new path to walk. And those who saw it marveled and gloried in the Lord. Because they could see someone from the mud standing on the rock, singing their lungs out with a new hope and a vision for life. In Hagar, we have 4 key things, and I just want to quickly go through them for you. Number 1, our purpose is singular. We restore broken lives. We do one thing, okay? And why is that? Because Jesus came to do one thing. Jesus said, I came to seek and save the lost. And when you look at Jesus' life, that's what he did. Everything he did was about seeking and saving the lost. He's walking along the road with 12 disciples, and over here he says, here's, Son of David, have mercy on me. And they go off the road to go and find Bartimaeus, who was blind. because Jesus was about seeking and saving the lost. Another path they're walking along, they go past a tree and Jesus stops and he looks up and he says, Zacchaeus, you pathetic little weedy man, get down here. Tax collector. Nobody liked him. Nothing's changed. Okay? And Zacchaeus comes down and Jesus said, I'm coming to your house for dinner. And they go to Zacchaeus' house, and at the end of the night, Jesus said, salvation has come to this house, because Jesus was about seeking him in the tree and saving the lost. Jesus did one thing. We do one thing. We restore broken lives. Okay? The second thing we do, we welcome the toughest human conditions. What's in the too hard basket? The 1% that nobody else wants to help. Why? Because Jesus did it. It says in Luke 15 that Jesus was sitting with the tax collectors and the sinners, and all the toffee-nosed religious people came along and said, ew, why are you sitting with them? They smell. And Jesus said, I came to seek and save the lost. And you guys who've got it all together, you don't need a physician, so you just go off and be good. I came to seek and save the lost. The toughest of human conditions was why Jesus was here. And it's why we're in Cambodia. We're there for the toughest of human conditions. The 13-year-old who's pregnant by her stepfather and has been tossed out from her village and her family. She's never been to school. She doesn't know how to look after a child. And she's a child herself. She's never going to be able to get a job that supports herself and her baby. She's tough. That's what we're there for. We're there for the 10-year-old Vietnamese girl who's been sold many times and has got learned behaviour that's extremely difficult. And it's going to take years of specialised counselling to turn that around for her. We're there for the intellectually disabled boy who's locked in a room every day while his mum goes to sell vegetables at the market to make enough money to support the family. And he's locked in a room with a bowl of rice and a plate of water. Because if mum takes her son with her to the market, nobody will buy her vegetables because they think that they might catch whatever her son's got. If they buy her vegetables, her kids will end up the same. So a boy, it's hard working with intellectually disabled kids in a country that just wants to lock them away. That's what we're there for. We welcome the toughest of human conditions. Number 3, we're focused. I'm supposed to do this with 2 hands, but I got one on the mic. We're focused on the individual. It's not about thousands of kids and women. It's about this one. Lom, 17 years old, rescued when she was 11 in a horrible raid with guns and doors getting knocked down and people shouting and screaming, and her getting dragged out from the room she was in out to the street naked, where there was people, hundreds of people all standing around to see what was happening. And this 11-year-old girl is standing there naked in front of all these people. And she's been with Hagar now for 5 years. She was with someone else first. She came to us. Today she's in grade 9. She is number 1 in her class. She is a baptized believer. She has a strong faith. She wants to study management because I want to help girls like me. I want to run a program like Hagar does, and I want to help girls like me. Okay, we focus on the individual. And I can tell you about Riti and about Shrainan and about Tari and about Val and about Ann. And they've all got their own story. And they've all got an incredible, bright hope future because there's light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, number 4, we do whatever it takes for as long as it takes to restore life in all its fullness. Why? Because Jesus did. He gave it all. It says in Hebrews that Jesus, for the joy set before him, for the light at the end of the tunnel, he endured the cross, despising the shame, because he knew it was for you and for me. And so Jesus did whatever it took, and he stayed there for as long as it took to restore life in all its fullness for you and I. And that's what we do in Cambodia. We walk with women and children for as long as it takes. They can run away, they can use bad words, they can fight with the other kids, but we're there for them, for whatever it takes, for as long as it takes, to restore life in all its fullness. You know, it's about people. This tunnel, it's got people in it. And you need, like Chiz said, you need flesh, and you need Jesus with skin on beside you when you're in a hard place. You need hands and feet that personify Jesus to you. And if you're in a hard place, I hope and pray that someone here will walk the journey with you. If you're not in a hard place but you know someone is, same thing. Go and be Jesus, hands and feet to these people, because it's all about people. It's not about budgets and statistics and job descriptions and performance appraisals and reports and all that stuff that I do for the Riverview Children's Foundation. Okay? Not about that. It's about people. It's about the ones and the twos, the individuals. With Hagar, 650 individuals who will one day be nation changers, because nations can be changed by one. Ask Nelson Mandela. Nations and the world can be changed by one. What about Mother Teresa? She changed how people view the poor. And we got some nation changers in that 650. And it's about walking with them. And thank you to Riverview, because you're part of walking with us through the valley and the tunnel with these women and children to the light at the end of the tunnel. That is God. Okay? It is about people. For the Kiwis here, in Māori, te tangata, te tangata, te tangata. Right? It's about people. God bless you, Riverview. You're walking with some people through the valley. Make sure you take them to the light, okay? Because that's where the answers are.